That is I.P.A. The war isn't over yet on Rock 100. Good morning, this is Jerome. It's your morning remedy. It's time for Breakfast Brew, brought to us by our friends at the smoker-friendly liquor store, 825 South Jeffers in North Platte. Now this one here, I'm going to take off the headphones so I can kind of hear. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you can see we have a packed house this morning. Let me go ahead and introduce our guests here. You know him from the midday show. It's Tanner.
Hello.
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 And a guy you don't know. Nobody knows this dude. He just showed up and he's like, it was kind of like that episode of The Office when they were looking for a GM and then James Spader just walked in and was like, I have the job. No, it's Ron Covert, our new general manager. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you? Good morning, everyone.
All right. So today we are going to do Empyrean Brewing Company's Watchman I.P.A. It's one that they actually sent us to try out. So I thought we would, give it a taste. And when I mentioned it, Ron said he's an IPA guy. Tanner's an IPA guy. Mm-hmm. Kay Stellar is running the camera. You dig IPAs, right?
Oh, I'm a huge IPA fan.
All right, so there we go. So we've got three IPA fans. I'm still getting used to the IPA, so we'll see how it goes. So if you guys want to go ahead and take a sip, first thing I'll give is, it smells great. Smells like an IPA. The hops comes out in the scent.
Did you cleanse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, I cleansed.
I didn't.
I pickled ginger already.
That's a weird thing to ask somebody. Have you cleansed for your morning?
Did you do your cleanse? Yes, I did. I did drop my pickled ginger already. It's first initial thought on this is the hops. Mm-hmm. You can taste it, but it's not as in your face, like punchy in the mouth as other IPAs.
Absolutely, it's a very, very good taste.
It is. It's a really good subtle hop taste to that. What do you think, Tanner?
I love everything Empyrean makes, so I've never tasted a bad beer from them. I've had this before too, and it's just.
The question is, have you ever actually tasted a bad beer?
Well, yeah, they're out there. My dad drinks Old Milwaukee Light, so yes, yes.
Man.
I mean, if you have seven of these and then you drink that, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you start with that, it's a bad beer.
Yeah, that old mud.
Old mud.
Nobody wants some old mud. I think it's really light too. It's not heavy at all. It has a really good finish to it. I think a really good. This would be, a good all-around IPA if you're a fan of IPAs, but you're looking for one because I know some people that and what turned me off initially on IPAs was that I had one, I can't even remember, I couldn't even tell you which one it was, but it had so much hops in it, and it may have even been a double IPA, that it tasted like I was drinking something that was run through a lawnmower bag. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I wasn't a big fan of that flavor, so I would say if you have somebody who you want to introduce them to an IPA, this would be a good one to do it with.
Yeah, it's not too much.
Yeah,
you're right. It's kind of like beer. I remember when I first tried beer was an acquired. It is for everybody. I think. I don't know if any, kid. Sure, I was 21, obviously.
And
clearly,
of course.
Taste everybody. You're always like, oh. But then you're like, okay, it's clearly the cheapest thing I can drink. So you acquire it. IPAs for me were certainly acquired. I hated them at first, but here I am now. I drink them.
All the time.
More than anything else, probably.
As do I. I think that one thing you find about some IPAs is they're a little aftertaste. It's kind of strong and they linger. This one's not that way.
Yeah.
It finishes really clean and it's not overly. I have to agree that the double IPAs or the super hoppy stuff is just a little harsh and hard to get down. But this is one and some of those you can only drink like one beer. And you have to switch to something else. I could definitely throw back a 6-pack of these in an evening.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And this would be a good one for middle of the day, hanging out in the sun, or a fire pit kind of beer too. And we're talking about the hops and the bitterness of some IPAs. This one sits at 58 IBU, which is pretty standard for a good IPA. So I would certainly recommend it, like I said, especially for anybody who is new to IPAs or you want to introduce them to craft beers, you want to introduce them to IPAs, this would be a good one for it. Real quick, want to say good morning to Dustin. I saw that he commented here on our Facebook Live.
Hi, Dustin.
So, hello. Good
I would also say that, like, for me, I don't know if this is for anybody else, but, like, whenever I have an IPA, the first drink, I'm always kind of like, okay, I got to get settled back in.
Yeah.
Now I've had like 4 more, and it just gets better and better.
Beers or drinks? Beers or drinks?
Well, the sip is what I was... I've only had... This is my first drink of the day. Yeah, of course it is.
First drink of the day.
And it's 8:30.
Right. I'm doing really good.
Like
I made it 8.5 hours without having anything
Right?
today.
Thank God for those 12 steps. or Tanner would be hammered by now. So, somebody here, Michael, watching from Sturgis, South Dakota, says loves listening to us guys online. Thank you so much for tuning in online.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great, man. So we're going to throw it back to the music here. What do we got on the way? We've got your forecast, some Cage the Elephant, and Alice in Chains. Will go just a little bit longer on our Facebook Live feed here. It's been Breakfast Brew, brought to you by our friends at Smoker Friendly Liquor Store, 825 South Jeffers. All right, we are off the air of the We're still on the internet, of course. And Chad says most important meal of the
Tanner.
day.
Seriously.
Oh, I did block him.
Did you just block people's?
Yeah. He saw what I looked like on the Facebook Live feed, and he covered me up.
Now that we have the boss here, maybe it would be a good time to pitch just setting up a little studio for this segment if we're going to have guests. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Like a nice little bar.
Now he sees the
Stock
issues,
bar,
right?
everything,
A
right.
stock bar.
I
We'll
think
get
a
a
stock
bartender.
bar inside of a radio station makes complete sense.
That might be the worst idea ever.
I think...
I'm surprised we don't have one. And I think we should all take flavor.
I thought that was Mental's office.
I actually used to have a program director that had a file cabinet that I found out later on was actually a stocked bar.
Sure.
He kept it in his coffee and or his Diet Coke that he drank all day long.
That's awesome.
That sounds familiar.
That's,
right?
Yeah.
That's weird. I mean, who does that?
Nobody.
I don't have any file cabinets in my office.
I'm pretty sure you didn't have this much.
No,
liquor in yours.
I would not.
No, not at
I'm
all.
a beer drinker, pretty much through and through. I
Yeah.
steer clear.
Devin, I hope I'm saying that right. Devin Scott says, honestly, this made my morning great. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just so we can, while we have you in here, if you don't mind, you don't have to give your whole life story, but, maybe let the listeners know, since you are kind of new to the family here, give us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 49 years old. I'm an Aquarius. No, I'm just kidding. I'm from born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Graduated high school in Littleton, Colorado at Columbine. I've worked in radio for about 28 years. I've got a lot of kids, and only one left in high school. Daughter just graduated last week, so got one left that I have to get through high school, and the rest of them are all on their own. But I've been in the Lawrence, Topeka, Kansas area for about the last 13 years.
He married a Husker.
And well, that was my next point. My beautiful bride's from
lead with
Omaha,
that.
Nebraska, and she was so excited about the opportunity to move back to Nebraska. And actually, I think the reason she wanted me to work here is because it was Husker radio. And she's like, "That's really cool." And so, long story short, I'm excited to be back in a small market like this, that we can actually make a difference for our advertisers, and we can do really cool things like this for our listeners. One side note is I put on one of the early active rock stations in 1994 in Columbia, Missouri, and so I've got a long, sordid history with active rock. So it's kind of cool.
And for those of you who maybe didn't know, like, that's radio lingo, what you're listening to, Rock 100 is considered an active rock station, so that's why he's such a great fit here.
So who's your active rock band? Who's at the
I
top
don't
of the
know.
wrong
I don't
chart?
know. Well, first of all, I'm still kind of missing Chris Cornell and
Aren't we all?
Soundgarden. That it's hard to top those guys. I don't know. There's so many different bands that I really, really enjoy. I don't even want to pick one of them. It's that whole genre of the mid to late '90s was just phenomenal music. My favorite band name back then was the Butthole Surfers.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys were awesome.
Yeah.
The Roof's on Fire and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as favorite, I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard to pick one, especially in the rock genre, because it's so different and diverse. I mean, it can go anywhere from teetering on metal all the way to stuff like Cage the Elephant, you know what I mean? And so it's so hard to pick a favorite. I'd say right now, the ones I'm digging a lot, Volbeat.
Volbeat,
I love their sound.
Well,
they're great.
Yeah.
I guess Volbeat is probably my favorite band of all. I don't know that I guess I didn't put them necessarily in this rock genre because they kind of fit all rock stations even, and because they're just as a matter of fact, I'm hoping next weekend to go see them at Rockfest in Kansas City when I go home. So
yeah.
Oh wow, boy.
Sorry.
Someone's dropping names over
Right.
here.
I just can go see them, you know.
I'm just saying.
While they're touring with the biggest band in the world.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody you want to see is there. So.
That's one of those rock fests that's huge. So.
It's at the Kansas Speedway this year for the first time. It's going to be pretty.
Drum, should we just show up and be like,
should
"Hey, Ron,
we should just
we got tickets sent to us, right? I think they went to your address."
Probably.
Weird.
They never know. They never know. I mean, yeah. Rockfest, the Kansas State Rockfest is really cool. It's got I don't even know how many bands. I'm kind of Blackberry Smoke is there, and I'm really kind of excited to see them because they're more of like a southern rock style, and I'm excited to see them, and you know it's the ticket prices are pretty cheap for the whole thing. I think it's like $35 a ticket or something to get in, and they even have cheap beer, so it's like $5 for a big beer.
Devin says Volbeat, Five Finger, and Disturbed are the main three right now. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go see them.
Just a small show. Just a small show. A couple people will be there. No big deal.
It's all right.
Wow. Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for coming in and meeting the listeners. I'm sure I speak for Tanner and Case Stellar when I say that we are certainly looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And
excited to work with you guys.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
It's going to be interesting. And like I said, I mean, we're already drinking with the boss.
Next Friday, 8:15, right?
Yeah, 8:15. Yeah, we're going to be doing one that a listener brought in. So you guys can tune in for that. That's been Breakfast Brew on the air and on Facebook Live, brought to us by our friends at Smoker Friendly. Again, I want to thank Tanner for coming in. I want to thank the boss man Ron for coming in, and Kay Stellar behind the microphone and the camera. Thank you all so much for tuning in as well. And we'll see you next Friday.
See you.